it's neat to be able to connect with people literally on the other side of the world. I grew up in the northern Midwestern area of the United States, so Detroit, which used to be called the Motor City. Today, I'm speaking to you from the West Coast. I'm just north of San Diego.
So, Mr. Ron Chandler, I'm Natasha Andrews, and welcome to Corporate Corner. So, we want to talk about your journey. How did you become, and you'll tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. Is it everything you dreamed of? If yes, why? If no, why not?
Okay. Well, I've had a very different journey than a lot of people have in terms of getting to where I am today. I was a degreed biochemical engineer, and I went into the pharmaceutical industry right out of college. So nothing to do with finance, nothing to do with, anything planning and retirement or future or anything else. I thought I was going to discover, the cure for cancer or, something wonderful like that. And it didn't take too long for me to be in a very large corporation to just know that I wasn't where I belonged. And that's always, that's always the first part. We like to have answers first, but very often, instead of answers, we start off with questions. And so I didn't know where I belonged or what I should be doing. I just knew that I didn't belong there. And so I started on a path, left the large corporation, joined a small corporation, small business, only 4 million, and did kind of just about anything they asked me to do. So, if they needed somebody to look what was going on with a problem, I looked at the problems. If they needed somebody to plan or design something, I would do that. It was kind of just anything I could do to learn how to run a business and kind of discover what I was good at, and in addition to that, what I enjoyed doing. From there, I went to another corporation, slightly larger, and that one I felt good in terms of the people I was with. I was surrounded by people that were like-minded. We had a lot of fun. We were in the automotive industry. We invented a lot of the devices that in some cases are still in cars today. Did some innovating, and ended up growing the business almost 5 times the original size. And the business was sold in 1994, and between the salaries and bonuses that I had received, and then selling the business, and the management team all received some pretty nice checks. I was in really, a good financial position. So I planned on moving down to Florida where my father lived, and I was just going to open a gym and kind of kick back and just enjoy the rest of my life. And God had other plans. So very quickly, I was getting calls from banks about, can you look at this company, and hey, can you talk to these people? And all of a sudden I became a business consultant. And so I was doing that right up until the birth of my first daughter. And when she was born, I'm married to a business executive, a very successful and a very driven business executive. And so between the two of us, we wanted um, to be able to be there. We didn't want to have our daughter raised by somebody else. And so I said, I'll give up the consulting business and I'll find something that can keep me close to home so that you have the flexibility to, continue to pursue your career. So I got into the financial services industry because it was something that was close by. And I was hired to be an advisor. And it sounded good, but what I found is that in these large financial services businesses, advisors are nothing more than salesmen with a different title. And my friends will tell you that I'm a terrible salesman. I don't enjoy selling, I don't enjoy cold calling, I don't enjoy knocking on doors, anything like that. And so I pretty soon came to the conclusion that I had to get out of there. In the meantime, through some contacts, a friend of mine told me that Summit Investment was for sale. Now, Summit was different because Summit was not a large financial company. It was a very small, independent business that had a different focus and a different business model. So in partnership with a couple people, I bought the company, and that was in 2012, and quickly started just looking at what we were doing and how we were doing it and what made the most sense to me. And I realized very, very quickly in directly speaking with clients, when I no longer had to worry about selling this product or selling this policy or selling this or selling that, but actually talking and listening to people, most people are lost financially. They don't have a plan. They don't know what a plan could even look like. They don't have a budget. They don't know if they're properly covered. They don't know if they have the right wills and trusts and things in place. So I was able to transform the business into something that allowed me to start making it more about the clients and making it more about asking the question, how can I help you? And that's when the floodgate opened. Because all of a sudden, when you start asking that question and when you ask it without any strings attached, where you're honestly looking at somebody's situation and looking to see how you can help them, everything changed. It was no longer a job. It was a calling. It was just something that I looked forward to doing. And what I found was I was able to find some really, really wonderful people. Some that needed a lot of help, some that needed a little help, some that thought they might need help in the future, but people who really wanted to do something with their lives and just needed someone there to walk with them and to help them, navigate the financial part of it. And so I don't know that if it's everything I ever dreamed of in terms of what I'm doing, but it certainly is everything I've ever dreamed of in terms of understanding that I really have a purpose now. I have a reason to get up in the morning, and I enjoy getting the phone calls. I enjoy, having the conversations. I've got some clients that every 2 weeks on Friday, they'll call me up and we'll just talk. And I say, do you have any questions? Nope. Just wanted to chat, just wanted to see how things are going. And, it becomes an extended family, and it really becomes something that drives you and keeps you going in both, the good times and the rough times. I mean, last year when the market crashed, I can't tell you how many people called me up. My clients called me up and said, "Hey, are you okay?"
Wow.
And we don't worry. We know this is going to work. We have trust. We trust you. We believe in you. And I mean, these are things that you can't. There isn't a degree in college that's going to get you anything like that. There isn't, any job posted in the help wanted section of the newspaper that's going to get you that. This is just something that comes, and when it comes, you get it. Really start becoming something bigger and better when you realize that you're not working for yourself anymore. I'm not working for my own gain. I'm working for other people's gain, and then the rewards are just going to come and they're going to be there.
That's right. That's right.
The big push for anybody that comes and works with us is the idea of getting them to be financially independent. So, everybody thinks that in order to be financially independent, you have to, create a company and sell it for billions of dollars, or, be the next Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. And so the first part of it is just driving the education, and having people look at their lives differently. What really makes you happy? Is having a mansion with 10 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms really going to make you happy, or is it going to stress you out because you're wondering, what am I going to do with all these bedrooms and bathrooms? And you start looking at things, more from a fulfillment standpoint, as opposed to a scorecard, and really focused on having, everything that they need so that they can go and do what they want, and they can spend time with their kids, or they can spend time with their parents. We've got people with aging parents, and how wonderful is it that if you're financially independent, you can walk away from your job for a year to go take care of your mother, or your father. So we try to do that. The other thing that Summit does is it gives me access to organizations that allow me to kind of multiply what I'm doing. And so, I spend a lot of time. I grew up just outside the Detroit metropolitan area, and Detroit has suffered tremendously economically. And in Milwaukee, which is now where we're located, there's very similar things. And so, we can go and get into the Milwaukee public school system on career day and spend time with kids and try to just, reach them and connect with them, and give them an idea that there's things out there beyond what they see in their neighborhood. And in some cases, provide direction for them that they can, pursue other things. Also volunteering with other organizations that are working toward, the underserved communities. Because I still believe that the best pathway to economic freedom is by, having an understanding that A, you can achieve it no matter where you start, and B, it's up to you, and you have all the power and all the control to do it. You just have to believe that, and you have to know it. So, that's where we're trying to make a bigger impact. Now, a lot of these people and a lot of these kids are people that they'll never become clients. They'll never, they'll go off and they'll do other things. But if you can connect with just, 5 kids and take them from this path to this path, then it's going to end up being better for everybody.
I agree. I totally agree. So your outlook. What significant changes have you observed over the past 2 to 3 years? And what's your outlook for the next 12 months?
The last 3 years have been very, very interesting. I think, certainly in the United States, there has been a gradual push from the top that you can't do anything without them. That, people need more rules, and they need more regulations, and they need more direction, and they need more, they need to be told what to do. I mean, we certainly saw this with the pandemic and the lockdowns, where, in some states here, things were to the point where, they were telling you can't leave your house, with no real scientific basis for that, just because I said so. And I see that, continuing to grow, and I thought that was something that might be bad in terms of the people that want to be in charge, and I don't see them wanting to give up this power and this control. But at the same time, and you and I connected on LinkedIn, I'm connecting with a lot of people who are saying, no, we don't want that. And it's not a certain group of people, it's not a certain race of people, it's not a certain gender of people. I'm connecting with people from a very, very wide spectrum, and they are all saying the same thing, that no, we believe that we know what we're doing. We believe that we know better than the government. We believe that our prosperity is dependent on us, not dependent on somebody handing us a check every month and telling us to just be good little citizens. So this is like it's an undertow, and so I believe over the next 12 months you're going to see it's not going to be pretty. I think you're going to see some clashes where the people that are in charge and the rich and the powerful are going to continue to try to suppress this movement. But I do believe that the spirit of people over time is going to start breaking through these walls, and people are going to say, no, you can't tell me that I can't do this. Well, it's time to understand what that means, and it's time for us to take back our future, and with that, our own prosperity. And I think that's going to start growing. I see a movement happening, and I think that it's going to continue to grow, and I think it's going to grow not only in the United States, but I think it's going to grow outside the United States as well.
Wow. Your hurdles. Let's talk about your resilience, Ron.
I believe that we're all born with God-given talents. And some people will have those talents and they'll completely ignore them, and they'll push them aside, and they'll go off and they'll try to pursue other things that their head and their mind is telling them, this is really what I want. Some people will take those talents and they will try to use those talents, but they'll just try to use them for their own gain. What can I get out of this? How can I do that? And that's where I was back in my early life. I was, taking, the talents that I had, but it was all about, making the business grow, making more money, getting a bigger bonus, getting, these deals done, and not really looking at the bigger picture and saying, how can I use my talents in such a way to serve my fellow man? Because I truly believe that when you can do that, which is the third step, that's when the magic happens. That's when the success happens. And so, the biggest challenge and the biggest hurdle is getting through those three steps and getting through them as fast as possible, to stop being self-centered and becoming other-centered. And a lot of that was overcome by being humbled in different failures when I was trying to do something in the pursuit of my own gain. I would fail, and I would go through the steps of, it's anger, it's this and it's that, and finally at some point, you wake up and you say, what am I doing? And you find that over time, when you're doing something that truly is in service to others, that those are the times when A, not only you were happiest, but B, you were most successful. And then start, trying to marry those two things where, you have talents, you have these God-given talents. Now, how can I best use them in a way that is going to serve the most people the most effectively? It took me way too long to get there. And really, it wasn't until I was willing to give up the pursuit of success so that I could be home at night to put my little girl to bed.
What would you say to persons getting into business and or leadership?
Okay. Well, on a business level, there's three things that I have seen time and time and time again that cause people to stumble. First one is the lack of capital. So whatever you do, you have to ensure that you have enough either financial backing or savings or access to capital to make it through a period where things aren't going to plan. Because I guarantee you, everybody has, a point. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's a year where things aren't going to plan. And you're going to have to be able to, make it through those periods of time. The other two things is you need to have a good, trusted CPA and attorney. Because if you're in a business and you're focused on what you could be a chef, you could be a writer of software code, whatever that is, that's what you're good at. You know what you're not good at? You're probably not good at numbers, and you're probably not good at looking at these 20-page contracts that somebody's smiling and handing to you across the table. And entrepreneurs tend to, be penny wise and pound foolish. And so they'll think, well, I don't want to pay, this attorney fee to have him read this contract. I'll read it. And I tell you, that is a big mistake. That is a real big mistake. And the same thing with the CPA. A good accountant will point out, the waste. They'll keep you out of trouble with the tax people, and they'll show you how you can, really optimize the cash flow that you have until you start, building that sound foundation. In terms of business and leadership, if anybody ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki talks about his rich dad, and who said, the secret to business success is being able to serve as many people as you can with the same time and same money as you did before. So it's always about how can I serve more people? How can I, touch more people? I have to tell you, in all honesty, and anybody that's listening to this is yes, I'm talking to you, and I'm doing that, but in reality, I'm talking to my younger self, and telling my younger self the things that you should have done, because as happy as I am, and trust me, I am happy. I am so blessed with everything that has gone on and where I'm at and everything else. It still could have been better if I had learned these lessons earlier in life than later in life.
Gotcha. So, are you ready for the other side of C-suite?
Sure.
No, I have to warn you. We have a theme song for this corner.
Okay.
And we have singers for this corner. You being one of them.
Oh boy.
So, these are a few of
my favorite things.
So, jump in on your favorite things. Food, song, book, people, place to visit, whatever there is. Tell us, what are a few of your favorite things?
Well, my favorite song is a song by a British entertainer by the name of Peter Gabriel, and it's called Salisbury Hill. That I started hearing this song at a time when I was going through some personal difficulties, and it was one of those songs that when I needed to just take a breath and be uplifted, I would be able to play that, and it would put me in a better place. Favorite book, and actually it's interesting because my niece is graduating, or she graduated high school, and she's coming out for a little graduation party. And for every high school graduate, I give them 3 books, and one of those books is my favorite, and it's the name of the book is Atlas Shrugged, and it was written in the 1950s, I believe, and it is as relevant today as it was back then. The author's name is Ayn Rand, Aynrand, and I highly recommend, especially young people, read that book. My favorite people are real people. I love people that can just sit around and be themselves, not worrying about how they look or where they're seen, but just being able to go and connect. My favorite place to visit is anywhere I'm visiting with my family. I've still got 2 young daughters. My oldest just graduated from the 8th grade, and my youngest is going to go into 5th grade. And so they're at an age where they still enjoy traveling and visiting with the parents. And so these are just, absolutely magical times. We were, even in the midst of the pandemic, we were able to visit the Grand Canyon, which is a short drive from here, and just to watch their eyes the first time they opened up and saw this, just amazing, stretch of land and what it looks like and where it came from, and listen to the history is that's stuff it's just magical.
we're not letting you off the hook with your favorite food.
Oh boy. Being Detroit Midwest, I love a good burger. I make one heck of a salad, dinner salad every day. And, just simple, natural. Maybe the best restaurant I've ever eaten was an Asian fusion restaurant in Hawaii. I remember my wife and I were on our honeymoon and we stopped in there just to have an appetizer, and we ended up eating the entire appetizer menu because everyone was better than the previous serving. But I'm really adventurous when it comes to food. I love experiencing things, and what's the most fun for me is to go somewhere with somebody who, like, if you have a favorite restaurant, I'd go with you, and then I'd say, will you order for me?
The adventure part with food, I'm not promising. But all right, let's get into some more fun with Ron. Oh, I love that. Fun with Ron. I'll do that in the caption. Your clumsiest moment. Besides singing.
Besides singing. Well, I've got two in different forms. So my socially clumsiest moment was probably when I proposed to my wife. And by the time we were done talking around everything, she ended up pretty much proposing to me because I just couldn't get out there and do it. Recently, I was with my younger daughter, and the streets here are not really that safe for bike riding. There's a lot of cars, and so I wouldn't let her ride by herself. So she was riding her bike, and I decided I didn't want to ride my bike. I grabbed my older daughter's scooter, which is one of those trick scooters. And while I was watching for cars, I wasn't watching for cracks in the sidewalk, and I ended up going flat right down into the pavement. So I was laying on the ground, bleeding pretty bad, and so I called her and I said, we got to go in the house because I think Dad might need stitches. So, and my wife just looked at it, and it was a Friday night. We were supposed to go out to, get something to eat. And she just looked at me and says, "Oh, you messed up another one."
Oh, dear. All right. What ticks you off? Your pet peeves.
Number one is negativity. It frustrates me when people say I can't. It can't be done. I can't do it. That's impossible. I've always had the attitude of, well, why not ask, or why not try? Yeah, maybe it is impossible, but here's an idea. Let's try it.
What else?
Well, having two kids that are in that teen and preteen age, a big pet peeve right now is dishes on the counter and clothes all over the floor.
We just leave it right there. We just not go any further with that. All right. So riding bike, scooter. In addition to that, what are your hobbies?
Scooters off the list. As we discussed, I love music. I love listening to music. I love playing music. I love playing along to music. When I'm by myself and the doors are closed, I will sing quietly to the music I play.
Okay.
I read a lot. I read a lot for enjoyment, and I read a lot for just to educate myself. I also love playing sports, so and it doesn't matter what. I don't really care if I'm any good at it. I'll go play tennis with my daughter, or I'll go play volleyball. My wife won't let me play volleyball with her people because they're really good. But I'll go down and just find some young kids that'll let me play and do that.
Got you.
But I love playing. I love just getting outside, just enjoying the fresh air and running around and being a kid.
Oh, that's good. All right, fun with Ron Corner. So we have come to the end of our time together for now. And with the closing question, you ready for it?
Sure.
All right. Make a wish.
If I had one wish, it would be for everybody to be as happy and as content as I am right now in my life.
Right, so, my dear Ron, thank you for spending this afternoon with us all the way from
Carlsbad, California.
So on behalf of the Key Business community, we want to say thank you to you, your lovely family, for Summit and all that you're doing and the time that you spent with us today to make an investment into our lives and hopefully by extension, our society and our future. As we say it all the time, see you around the corner.
Very good. Thank you very much, and best wishes to anybody that watches this video.